Church, what is going on? I am furthering this whole live experiment of mine, so y'all bear with me. Last time I went live, I think one of the comments said that my volume wasn't like the stream basically could have been louder. So I went through all my settings and I really can't figure out how to make it louder. Let me see. What does this do? Takes it all the way out. Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna move the mic closer to me, and hopefully that should help. So for all of y'all who end up watching this video, just make sure to like drop down in the comments and let me know if the volume is better. So I'm trying to like project my voice louder, and just make sure that I'm always speaking into the mic. So, anywho, church, we gonna cover a couple topics today, and let's just start off with more Diddy news because it seems like we can't ever stop talking about Diddy. All right, so Diddy has apparently sold Revolt TV, which is the streaming network. I believe it's a streaming network. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's a black owned network that he basically founded. So he sold it for an undisclosed sum and he basically kept the buyer under wraps. And from the internet sleuths, because y'all know people online are always going to look into something. And if you're trying to keep it secret, it's only a matter of time before people end up finding it out. Okay. So the rumored person, well, before we get into that, when it first happened in terms of the deal of Revolt, first off, I've never seen Revolt TV. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know if y'all seen Revolt TV. It's not personal or anything. It's just, hell, I got too many damn networks to keep up with. It's the Netflix, it's the Hulu, it's the regular cable, it's, the online streaming services, honey, the Disney Plus, HBO Max. It's just too many of them to keep up with. So I don't even know where you find Revolt TV. Is that on normal TV? Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know if it is, okay? But I've never seen Revolt TV before, but apparently, through a report, the mystery buyer is this man named, and I'm trying to get this right, Richelieu. So it's Richelieu. So Richelieu. Richelieu. I'm just gonna call him Richie. Okay, and Richie. His name is Richelieu Dennis. I'm just gonna call him Rich Dennis. Okay, so he's reportedly the mystery buyer of Diddy's Revolt TV. Now he is black, so that basically, kept Diddy to the truth in terms of wanting it to stay black owned. And he is indeed black, and apparently his wealth stems from a hair care or moisturization company called Shea Moisture. I've never heard of it. Or I've never used it rather. I have heard of it. Let me Google it real quick. Shea Moisture. It's a personal care product company. So it's basically a whole bunch of different products, but I think that their primary products had to deal with like black hair and stuff like that. So good for him. And apparently he made most of his money from that sale. He sold the company to Unilever for I believe it was $1.6 billion. Billion with a B, okay? I thought I was always up on my current events regarding black billionaires, but apparently not. So maybe for one of these live streams, I'm basically just gonna go through the list of black billionaires and make sure that I familiarize myself with him. But he's allegedly the new owner of Diddy's shares of Revolt. So congratulations to him, and Diddy stayed true to what he said he was going to do in terms of keeping it black owned. Now there was a little bit of rumors just concerning Rich Dennis. Apparently, he found himself at the center of some bombshell allegations thanks to a public letter by Black Female Anonymous, which is a group reportedly consisting of current and former Essence employees. So for all of y'all that had lives and couldn't keep up, he also owns Essence magazine. A few other execs were named in the expose, and all mentioned parties soon stepped down from their position. So he's no longer the interim CEO of Essence, but he still remains as the chairman of Essence. So I don't know if that's going to be problematic. It's one thing to sell your company to somebody amidst the scandal that you're going through. To me, it's a whole nother kettle of fish to sell it to somebody who may have, alleged scandals of their own that may come to light. So I don't know, but as I said, that the sale of Revolt is correct, but in terms of Rich Dennis being the person that it was sold to, that's still alleged at this point. So we shall see what shall end up happening regarding this thing. So that's Diddy and his Revolt stuff. So in funny news, all right, Diddy's stepson Quincy. So for all the other had lives that couldn't keep up, Diddy has a stepson named Quincy, and Quincy's real father is Al B. Shore. And I'm only laughing because once I tell this story, y'all will understand why I find it so comedic, right? So Al B. Shore is Quincy's real biological father, but Diddy, since he was with Kim Porter, who I believe was Quincy's mom or whatever, God rest her soul, Diddy basically became Quincy's stepfather, right? So amidst Diddy's ongoing legal drama, Al B. Shore, who I believe was some sort of singer, or I believe he was a singer, an artist based in maybe like the late 80s, early 90s, y'all. All I remember is that he had a song called Night and Day. I don't know if his fame swelled past that. I'm not sure. And this is not shade. I just do not know. Okay. I've told y'all several times. Okay. My musical taste was formed from the 99s to the 2000s. So it's very hard for me to keep up with stuff that's not in that damn time period. Okay. So shout outs to Al B. Shore. I'm sure he had a wonderful career and whatnot. I hope. I don't I don't know for sure. Okay. So amidst all of Diddy's legal dramas and stuff, Al B. Shore has basically surfaced, and he did an IG post to his son saying, and I quote, "Come home. The door is wide open. You're safe here, son." I'm going to read that one more time for y'all. "Come home. The door is wide open. You're safe here, son." There is so much shade in that damn title right there, okay, or in that damn post. Come home. The door is wide open. You're safe here, son. Now, look, Quincy, if you have been operating with Diddy as your stepfather, I know he going through a whole bunch of trials and tribulations right now, and God knows that nobody knows how it's about to shake out for Diddy. But if Diddy is my stepfather, okay, and Al B. Shore is my actual biological father, but I identify more with Diddy because he's been there, he's been financing my lifestyle, X, Y, and Z. Quincy, I say, look, until them people cart Diddy off, you might want to stay where the money resides. Okay, that's all I got to say. Y'all remember that old saying, where the money resides, where the money resides, where the money resides. You might want to stay, Quincy, where the money resides. All right, because if my bread and my bank account is getting buttered on the Diddy side, I might want to. I'm not saying you shouldn't reconnect with your father. Okay, God knows that, when our parents are placed into our lives, whether there are, biological parents or step parents or whatever, you should respect them nonetheless, provided that nothing traumatic or anything happened, okay? And so if you want to reconnect with your father amidst all this Diddy mess, then, feel free to do so. However, okay? When you have tasted lobster, it's very hard to go back to imitation lobster, okay? When you have tasted real crab meat, it's very hard to go back to the fake crab meat, okay? And so in this case, if Diddy is the real crab meat and Al B. Shore is the imitation crab, y'all make your own determination from the situation, okay? But look, all I'm saying, there is no harm in reconnecting with your pappy, Quincy, okay? Just remember where the money resides. And look, Miss John said, "You so wrong for that." Look, I know I'm so wrong for it. Jesus, please put your guiding hand on me, because sometimes I just get beside myself. But all I know is I'm not messing up my lifestyle just to appease my biological father. I'm sorry. I done gotten used to living in mansions, driving around in luxury cars, honey, spending up that man money, jumping on them jets that the government trying to raid and take over. I done got used to the high class life. I don't want to go back yet. And I don't know what Al B. Shore currently does today. Let me Google Al B. Shore net worth. Okay. Al B. Shore net worth. He's a producer. He's an R&B singer, songwriter, record producer, and radio host who has a net worth of $2 million. Okay, cool. So he eating good, living good, eating lobster, thermidor, and firm shrimp. But he ain't quite on Diddy level, because I think Diddy was a billionaire before all this crap started happening. But to go from a daddy that got hundreds of millions of dollars to one that has 2 million, I would assume it's probably a small or drastic change in lifestyle. So all I know is this: when we were watching all the stuff happening with Diddy online, um, they were saying, I think when they were rating his houses and stuff, that one of the houses was registered to his company, Bad Boy Entertainment, in conjunction with one of his daughters. Okay. And so if that's the case, Quincy, look, before you head back to your daddy, I'd say you just try to finesse a home, a condo, a townhouse, a property out of Diddy. Just make sure it's in your name, okay? Get you a property, get you a trust fund, get you some sort of thing set up before you go back to your actual pappy, okay? Because like I said, we all don't know what's going to happen with Diddy, but suffice to say something is fitting to happen, all right? Now, just because the government, puts you in jail doesn't mean your money go away unless they, freeze your accounts. But I would say if Diddy giving out properties, then make sure that you get one in your name before all is said and done, before you go back to your actual daddy. So that's all I have got to say. Jesus, I'm sorry if I have disrespected the whole situation by, speaking my mind. But look, people these days are they're so scared to have an opinion on something because they feel they finna be canceled or whatever. But as long as you stay steadfast and in the eternal words of Wendy Williams, you got to say it like you mean it, you should be fine. All right. So that's the end of our Diddy news. Now, in terms of Real Housewives of Potomac, the news from this week is that allegedly there's going to be a cast shakeup, okay? That's already pretty much in process. And in the cast shakeup, 3 people are going to be let go. And when I say let go, I don't mean necessarily fired. It could be a combination of them leaving by themselves or them basically being put on pause until a future occasion or whatever. But 3 people got to go, and I guess they're going to replace them with 3 new people. On the surface, I think that this is a great idea. Okay. I think sometimes, we get so used to a certain cast and then we don't realize that slowly but surely it's become stale. Okay. And so, in order to kind of alleviate that possibility, you shake it up from time to time. You leave the kind of stalwart people who still have good, storylines or whatever, and then you like remove some people who may be going through their own things. Like, some people leave on their own volition, some people decide that or the powers that be in terms of the producers and stuff decide that it's time for these people to take a little pause, and that's okay too. But as long as you don't burn any bridges on your way out, the Real Housewives is always a revolving door. Okay, you can always come back provided you don't leave in a bad fashion. Nene. Nene. Did I say that? Who said that? In the eternal words of Portia Williams. So the scuttlebutt from this week was that Candace Dillard Bassett announced her exit from the series after 6 seasons. So I think that's a huge loss. Candace is a really good part of the show. She's kind of like the person that you love to hate or you love to see win, depending on what you feel about her. Like in the earlier seasons, her zingers were legendary. Then the whole thing happened with Monique, and people were like split as to whether or not they were on the Candace side or the Monique side or whatever the case may be. But I think in the recent season, she's kind of established herself as a solid cast member. So I'm sad to see her go, and I truly wonder why she's going. But I think her statement said something to the effect of a lot of different opportunities have come her way, from music to acting to X, Y, and Z, and she wants to take full advantage of that. So I think that's great. If you don't come away from the Real Housewives with a leg up in life, a new product, a new marriage, a new man, a new, benefactor for your lifestyle, or a business in general, then you probably have failed the process. So I think it's great that she's in a place where, because as regarding the Candace stuff, it said that Candace is leaving of her own volition. Okay. So she hasn't been fired, asked to leave, X, Y, and Z. So when you have the power to kind of make your living outside of the Housewives universe, even though your platform was basically solidified because of it, I think that that's great. Like, what do they say about children? We give them wings so they can fly. So, fly, fly, Candace. So I hope this stuff with the music works out. And then I think she said she was thinking about expanding her family as far as her and her husband goes. So yeah, get some stuff on the music front going, get some stuff on the acting front going, and you know, maybe get pregnant, and then by that time, you know, give it year and a half, 2 years, maybe 1 to 3 years or whatever. I think people will be ready to see you back again with all the new stuff in life that you bring, right? So good for Candace. So allegedly, the second person that's being let go. No, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Okay, I told y'all it's a combination of people leaving on their own and people that's being asked to be put on pause. Okay, so Candace is number one. Number two is allegedly Robin Dixon. Okay, um, and apparently hers wasn't allegedly that she's leaving on her own. Apparently she's been put on pause. Okay, and once again, that's allegedly. Okay. So, uh, I'm trying to figure out if I'm sad about it or not, and I'm leaning towards no. I think it's good for Robin to be paused. I think Robin has skated by a lot because she's Giselle's friend, and I think Giselle's the only one on the cast that has an executive producer credit. So when you have that, you know, it's very easy to kind of steer the ship in the way you want it to go. And also to kind of shield your friends from the woes of potentially being put on pause or whatever. But the thing about Robin's story is not that her storyline is stale. It's just we've seen a lot of it before. Robin starting a business, Robin rebuilding after the financial issues that, you know, her and Juan have had, Juan doing something stupid, and Robin playing his lover and his secretary to try to explain it away, even though it's looks to be killing her on the inside or whatever the case may be, while she's trying to throw a brave front to everybody. So, you know, unless something new happens regarding Robin, because the only thing we've really seen is her opening up like a franchise and trying to establish an income outside of the housewives and outside of any sort of employer. Um, Unless something more interesting happens, and I'm not trying to diminish that, because that's beautiful in order to create your own business and kind of separate yourself from the housewives so that your entire paycheck is not basically beholden to an employer. That's wonderful and that should be commended. But as far as reality TV goes, you have to literally Miss John said bye Robert. You so funny for that one. But you know, as far as reality TV, you have to literally, uh, you have to be delivering. Like when you compare Robin to Mia right now, Mia whole life is falling apart in front of everybody. Okay, and Mia is stepping into the eye of that storm. So when you delivering drama like Mia, somebody like Robin's drama don't compare right now. And I'm not saying every single season you have to go through trials and tribulations, but you kind of have to bring, you know, something to the table. So, you know, if Robin's on the chopping block as far as being put on pause, that's okay. The beautiful thing about Juan and Robin is just give them time. Just give them time. Juan gonna do something stupid, and Robin gonna have to play his lover and his secretary and explain it away. And before long, it's gonna hit the blogs. And you know, her and Giselle still got that reasonably shady podcast. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll be hearing from, you know, Robin very soon if she is indeed being put on pause for this. And Ms. Johns, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you. And just put in the comments whenever you get a chance if my volume is good. I just want to make sure, because one of the comments I got the last video on Tuesday was that the volume needed some work. So I got this thing right up against my face. So hopefully the volume is okay. But just let me know when you get a chance. Um, so that's on that. Next up, what we gonna cover? I think we're gonna do some Jackson family war. So I haven't really been paying much attention to the whole Jackson family drama lately. You know, they always say more money, more problems, but when Michael left y'all, you know, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, I just don't understand why there's infighting and drama and whatever the case may be. Oh, thank you, Miss Johns. You said I'm good. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna know from going on. I'm gonna keep the mic right here. Thank you so much. So apparently, Michael Jackson's estate, which is being governed by the executors, is two of them. I think is John Branca and another individual. I forget his name. I thought it said it here, but it's fine. John Branca and somebody else. So the executors have been there since, you know, Michael died, and he basically appointed these people to be in charge of his fortune and stuff. So Michael gave a very simple directive, between all the legalese. And the very simple directive was that my children and my mama need to be taken care of. Okay, let me say it one more time. My children and my mama need to be taken care of. So that's kind of how it's proceeded going forward. So apparently, in 2022, the executors worked out a deal to sell a portion of Michael Jackson's catalog to Sony for $600 million. They did not sell the whole catalog, they sold a portion of it, okay? And apparently, Michael's mom, Katherine, objected to the transaction for over a year, to the point where she took them to court over this whole sale. So she argues that her late son would have never sold off the asset and testified that he wanted to keep it in the family to ensure their financial security. Once again, the executors didn't sell off the whole asset, they sold a portion of it, okay? I don't know whether it was half or a quarter or whatever, but if you sell a portion of an asset for $600 million and you still own the rest of the asset, suffice to say you're doing pretty well if the rest of the asset is worth, at least $600 million or more. Anywho, initially, Michael Jackson's children, Blanket and Paris, supported their grandmother in court. Did y'all realize that there's a third Jackson child? I was like, I always remember them talking about a third child. It's Blanket, it's Paris, and then I had to Google it. Prince. You don't ever see Prince in anybody drama, okay? Good for Prince. Prince stays out of the people's drama, okay? And I'm gonna have to back up from this thing a little bit because I hear my P's popping in the mic. Well, mic doesn't start with P, which y'all know what I'm talking about. Anywho. So Katherine didn't like that they sold off the catalog to Sony for the $600 million. And just another point on this. I understand people selling off their catalogs for the purpose of bringing in cash really quickly. But what I don't understand is if the Jackson estate is already as lucrative as it is, what's the point of selling off a portion of the catalog? Like if you already are bringing in, hundreds of millions of dollars each year just in licensing deals and X, Y, and Z from his legacy, what's the point of selling part of the catalog? I don't know. It just seems like we had a wave of a lot of different artists selling their catalogs for, I guess for some people it was cash grabs. For some people they were established artists. So they're, getting while the getting is good. Maybe because, the streaming stuff is happening. Maybe albums and catalogs as they currently aren't as profitable as they once were. I don't know, but to me, if you already have a successful business going and a successful business plan in terms of how you're managing his finances, what's the real point of selling the catalog? I don't know. But anywho, Katherine ain't like that they sold part of the catalog, so she sued them. And but the judge signed off on the proposed transaction. She's appealed it, and apparently through her appealing it and also suing them over the issue to begin with, she's racked up some legal bills to the tune of $500,000. And so she wants the Jackson estate to kind of reimburse her for the money that she spent in suing them. Now, look, on the surface, that's a wild statement to make, okay? The estate takes care of you. You sue the estate over a deal it made that ultimately benefits you, okay? And now you want the estate to basically reimburse you for money that you used to sue it. That is wild, okay? But the thing about it is this. Michael loved his mama, all right? And what did he say? He wants his mama and his children to be taken care of. So, look, if the estate is already paying her, I think it was reportedly $160,000 a month. I think it's an odd request to ask the estate to reimburse you for you suing them. So I don't know how that works, but look, if Michael's directions were clear, he wants his mama to be taken care of. I leave it up for the courts to decide, because if I'm paying you $160,000 a month and you're using that money to sue me, but you want a lump sum payment of $500,000 for costs incurred in you suing me, it's kind of like you already are literally paying her the money that she's using to sue you. So whether or not you give her a lump sum payment up front or the monthly installments, you're still paying her to continue to sue you. So I just say, look, that lady is 93. It's suffice to say she has more days behind her than she has ahead of her. Whatever she wants, give it to her. I say, okay, that was Michael's mama. He praised her and put her on a pedestal above all others. Even if her reasons for suing the whole estate were genuine and make sense. Uh, Even though the estate still pays her bills that she's using the funds with to sue them, I don't know. I think it becomes very dicey when it comes to mama. Okay. And if Michael loved his mom and he wanted the best for her, and even if, she's suing the estate that's basically paying her, I say just give her the money. Okay. If you've literally done a sale to Sony for $600 million, you cutting the mama 500,000 to cover the legal bills that she used to basically sue y'all. It's a drop in the bucket. Like I said, that lady has more days behind her than she has ahead of her. But yeah, I hope it all works out. What a mess. I'm telling you, when you have hundreds of millions of dollars, well, billions at this point, at stake, and you have families feuding over what decisions should be made. What a mess indeed. But good to know there's plenty of money to basically satisfy everybody involved, Michael's children as well as his mom. But anywho, y'all, I think that's all I want to talk about today on this live stream. So thank y'all so much for joining. The people that came in and left, the people that came in and stayed, Miss Johns for holding me down and helping me and encouraging me and telling me that my sound was good. I appreciate you. And I do this every Tuesday and Thursday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. I've been varying up the time a bit. Sometimes it's in the evening, sometimes it's, in the middle of the day. So it just depends on how my day's going. I'll try to get a more standardized schedule as it progresses, in case you guys enjoy these lives or whatever. But anywho, thank y'all for joining so much. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all later, which will basically be Sunday. Bye.